Hey everybody, if you like this video, please comment, subscribe, let me know what you think in the comments below, whether you enjoy this season, whether you don't, whether or not. Your support means a lot to me, and thank you so much. Now on with the video. The Bear Season 3 is one of the most beautifully shot, well edited, and death-defining written shows of the entire year. A product that definitely exceeds most TV so far this year and shows just how much of a masterclass this show really is. However, this is still the worst season of The Bear. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't really know how else I can put it lightly, but The Bear set a standard with its first two seasons. Hell, the fact that the second season is as good as it is really impressive. I genuinely thought the first season was going to be some kind of lightning in a bottle standard that the rest of the show would try to replicate throughout its entire life, but it wasn't like that at all. So when you have a show that seems to consistently keep you excited, anxious, happy, and sad, laughing your ass off, you kind of expect that same level of quality from a third season, but that's not the case. In fact, season 3 is deliberately trying to do something different here, and I honestly really do enjoy some of it. The first episode alone is just exceptional filmmaking that could get its own video someday, but just from that episode alone, it's clear that The Bear didn't lose its sauce. It's tough to try and describe what exactly this season was going for, since there's a lot of ideas but no payoff. Legacy seems like a big theme of the season, but there's a ton of build-up in character conflicts, specifically Carmy and Sid, Carmy and Richie, Carmy and Claire. Goddamn, Carmy, get your shit together. However, like I said earlier, there is seemingly no payoff. It really does feel like this season is part of a part 1 of some major 2-part story or 2-season story arc, and the best evidence I could really bring up for this is that this is the first time we've ever seen a to be continued card at the end of a season, and just some behind the scenes production details that are fairly odd that I want to get into later. But yeah, let's talk about what I genuinely did love from the season though. First off, and this is more of a general compliment of the show, but I really love how every season is unique and doing their own thing. They really took the Panic at the Disco route of swearing to shake things up if you swear to listen. The first season is undoubtedly a comedic drama that takes place in a chaotic kitchen with tons of character work sprinkled throughout the show to make you care. Season 2 is definitely more leaned back on the comedy. There's still comedy in there, but the drama, the character arcs, and the romance really take a center stage while being in a completely different environment with opening up a restaurant. And season 3 is what I call myself the cooldown season. This season is about evolving its characters. It's taking things slow. It's a snapshot sort of all the characters and its journey. It's not filler, or it's not a season where nothing happens, quote unquote. It's a sweet handful of episodes that trust the audience to be able to sit down and really take into account the reality of what it takes to make it, honestly, in this extremely cruel food industry and the kind of toll it takes on your mind. And listen, if you want to call this season boring, then sure, fine, I can admit it. I was bored for some stretches of the season, but to say nothing happened, that's just an attention span issue, I'm not gonna lie. However, if the story doesn't meet your forte, then fine, I completely understand that and you're right to your opinion. But something that the season does so well that I will not back down on is its delicious character work. It's consistent with the whole show because every season does as well, but I really love what they did this season with characterization. Now I'm gonna ramble on about for some of my favorite characters here, so just get ready. I promise it won't get too long, but let's start with Carmy. Carmy continues to be a whiny, younger sibling-coded, angsty mega baby with anxiety issues. Honestly, he is so me for real, but he is literally frozen as a human being. I love how this season depicts him, and it just shows us how he hasn't learned. He hasn't learned anything about the freezer incident. He's still in that freezer for the entirety of season 3. He continues to self-sabotage and even become a slave to even more work. He puts an insane workload on him and others to try and meet some quota because he doesn't believe that he's good enough, It's fucked. He wants to be better, but he can't help himself from repeating that cycle of trauma, anxiety, and self-sabotage. It's gotten to the point where the fucked up things that his previous chef did to him, he's putting it on Sydney now. He gives Richie a half-ass apology. He doesn't even try to talk to Claire, and he ignores Sydney all season because he can't get out of his own way. And his conversation with both his previous teacher and Chef Terry are both fantastic sides of Carmy's whole dilemma. He wants what Chef Terry has, but Chef Jeff Winger put something dark and self-destructive in him that he honestly needs a therapist for, honestly. But that conversation might be exactly what he needed though, because he's been thinking about him all this time, but Chef Winger hasn't given a single thought about Carmy, and maybe that helps him break the cycle, or maybe it doesn't, who knows. And honestly, I've described Carmy so far as an extremely unlikable person. None of these traits are likable at all, but you know why he remains my favorite character? Jeremy Allen White. He just elevates everything that Carmy is inside and out. And honestly, if he was played by any other actor, I would probably hate Carmy. I'm just being serious, but Jeremy is just a radiant of talent, and that does so much for this character. Sydney is another great character with great development. Seeing her deal with Carmy's bullshit is always so intense and heartbreaking. When that job offers come, like halfway through the season, it's genuinely really anxiety inducing, because you're trying to break into Sydney's psyche right now and see, is she gonna do it? Is this really what she wants to do, or is it something else that's keeping her back? Honestly, it's all so engaging all the time, and seeing her get that panic attack at the end just hits, man. It proves that that cycle is still continuing from Carmy to Sydney, and it honestly makes me want Sydney to go. Like, it's hard to digest. Richie's character is also something that I really loved watching. He is constantly bickering with Carmy this season, which is both hilarious and soul crushing. I just want them to make up already, but seeing Richie really develop his new life is always just so heartwarming. He really tries to make time with his daughter, and his radiating chemistry with a previous Expo co-worker really wants me to root for them as a potential couple. That would be really awesome. And Richie goes through an arc this season about what it means to be alone, and how he doesn't want that part of his life to be shown to his daughter. And I'm just rooting for Richie. Like, I want him to get a really happy ending. Give him a happy ending and my life is yours. Now, just to go through some other highlights of this season, the Tina episode directed by Ao was perfect. The second episode and the final stretch of episodes are also just goated. However, undoubtedly there are some issues here, and it's just that this season feels incomplete. Waiting until the very end of the season for the review felt like a pretty odd way to finish this, especially when the previous two finales had such TV-defining moments that really elevate what a show can do for its emotional climax. We never got Carmy or Richie making up. We never got a proper Carmy and Claire reunion where they talk things out. It just feels like there's a lot missing here, as mentioned before. And the main theory I have really is that maybe they're just trying to rush the season out to meet a deadline. That's honestly, I don't have any basis for that, just by the big report that they tried to film season 3 and 4 back to back, but season 4 scripts just weren't ready yet, and they just want to plan out better, I guess, for season 4. That's like, I'm not trying to accuse anyone of anything. I'm just saying that's the base theory that I have based on things I've heard. Season 3 might have had a little bit of a rush production because they wanted to get season 4 out in time. Who knows? Honestly, who knows? It just feels like this was kind of a rushed cookie cutter season. The Bear season 3, while missing a lot of the charm and clever storytelling that made people fall in love with the show, I still think does a lot right when it comes to character works, characterization, and just filmmaking in general. Like, this season is so beautiful, and it's still masterclass television, and I'm gonna give season 3 a 7.5 out of 10. Tell me what you guys think. Am I right? Am I wrong? Like, subscribe, comment, give me any opinion on the Bear that I didn't mention, and I would love to see you guys next time. Thank you and have a good day.